Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Matt here. Today I'm giving my opinion on the GrayOps Precision one-piece scope mount. Absolutely love this thing. If you know me, you know I have this weird thing for one-piece scope mounts. I've tried a lot of different ones over the years. I had a Spur, an MDT, I have the American Rifle Company one-piece mount, as well as a Weed Air. So when I got the GrayOps mount here, I was sort of just getting another mount, but this has quickly become definitely one of my favorites that I've tried. I like a lot of things about it. First off, the machining is totally top-notch, as you would expect from GrayOps. I would say the GrayOps product line demands a bit of a premium price, but everything I've ever had from GrayOps has been totally spot on. I really like the GrayOps machining quality and all that stuff. The finish is just really nice. And another thing I really like about this mount system is sort of the ecosystem of accessories is what I will call it. I think that's also really well done by GrayOps. I use this on my main competition scope and my main rifle, obviously, for 2 years now. No, it's actually just been over 1 year because I got this from Steiner, Matt Steiner at MKM. He does sell GrayOps stuff at matches sometimes, and he'll oftentimes give it 10% off for shooters that attend the match. So that's where I got this mount from, and that was at the end of 2023. So I've used it for just about one full season as my primary mount for my competition rifle. And again, really like it. You can see I got a few accessories with it. But first, talking about the mount itself, this is a fairly standard setup where you have 4 screws on the bottom clamp to go on your scope base. Looking at the bottom of the clamp here, you can see the clamp is actually one solid piece, which is pretty sweet in terms of strength and rigidity. And then it has one large recoil lug in the middle there for making sure that this thing doesn't move under recoil. And then you have each ring top has 6 screws, which is quite a bit, but a lot of one-piece mounts have 6 screws on them. Honestly, I used to get really annoyed to have to do 6 screws on a scope mount, but once you have your scope set in, you never touch it. Like, I don't think this Razor Gen 3 has been taken out of this mount since I've mounted it last year. So it's not really a huge factor to me anymore. I should also mention that all the fasteners for the scope mount, including the accessories, at least all the accessories that I have, are the same. They use the same driver, which I really appreciate. Furthermore, the driver they use is not just your standard T25. It's actually a T25 Plus, or is that what it's called? T25 Plus? It's the Torx Plus driver, or is it called the Torx Improved? I think it's the Torx Plus. That's what I'm gonna go with. So it's not technically compatible with the regular Torx driver. You got to be careful because they could slip and strip the screw head, which you definitely don't want. So when you buy this mount, it actually comes with its own little Torx Plus driver, which is great. So I just put that with my fix-it sticks, and that's where it lives. All right, so I did get 3 accessories with the scope mount when I first purchased it. The first one here is the bubble level that sits on, it's not quite a 45, but like these angled sides on the ring tops. Now, I did have to play with the ring top to rotate it on the scope tube ever so slightly to level this thing, because there's no adjustment on the bubble level. That is one thing I do like about the Spur bubble level, is once you mount it to the side of the Spur, you can sort of tweak the level without playing with the ring tops. This one isn't the case, but it wasn't too bad. It just took a little bit of fine tuning, and then I torqued everything down and it was fine. And I always personally like to run a bubble level on my competition scopes, even if I have a send it level, because the send it level has died before. So it's nice to just have a little bit of redundancy there. And the second accessory I got in for the GrayOps is the direct send it level mount, as you can see there. Now, what I really like and what I appreciate is this mount was well designed. The send it level can actually attach to either side of the mount. You can flip the mount, but it can also attach to either side. So you can play with not only the orientation of the send it, but also sort of the height at which it sits at. So I could flip the mount around and still mount the send it level going upwards, but it would sit higher, if that makes sense. And same with going downwards. But I love the way they fit this. I don't know if it was intentional, but you can see if you run the send it level mount in this orientation, the bubble level on this ring top sits right above it, sort of nestles it in between. You have enough room there to turn on the send it level, obviously, but I think it's a really clean setup that doesn't take too much space. The only downside is if your send it level dies and you need to replace the battery, you do need to remove the bubble level in order to do so, because the sleeve on the send it level, it's a little bit tight right now, but it goes upwards to come off and it'll hit the bubble level. So you do have to remove that as well, but it's not a huge deal. And I've been running it like that for quite some time. And obviously with these accessories, you do have multiple points that you can attach them to. So the bubble level can go on either side, front and back, and then the send it level can be moved to the front as well if you want to do that. A lot of people will run the Brandt built kit, like the fiber optic kit for the send it level, so you don't need the send it level actually visible. You can just mount it in the front here and then run the fiber optics to the back. So that is an option as well. The third accessory is, of course, the front diving board mount, a lot of people call it, but just the long Picatinny rail that attaches to the front ring top. I should also mention the two ring tops are the exact same, unlike a spur, for instance. But you can see there the pick rail there. It also has a nice Grey Ops logo at the front. But you can use this for a plethora of different accessories. I do occasionally run a red dot on this, but if not, it just stays on the mount regardless. So Grey Ops mount, again, high quality. You can just see the machining. It's just beautiful. The finish is consistent and the same on all, even the accessories and everything. So I really appreciate that. I have this thing for nice scope mounts, as I mentioned before. So I really like the Grey Ops mount here. I think another scope mount I want to try eventually would be the Area 419 one-piece mount. Those ones look really nice as well. But that is totally, like, anytime I try a new scope mount, it's really more just for my interest's sake than need, because a high quality scope mount is gonna serve you well regardless of what brand it comes from, as long as it's of quality. But the Grey Ops one here, a great option to add to the options list, if you will. Anyway, if you have any questions, as usual, I'll do my best to answer them. And if not, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.